At one point, I clung to a single belief, the notion that things could get better. It wasn't necessarily about personal transformation, but more about the hope that over time I wouldn't remain stuck in the same rough, retiring position as before. Whether it was during the night, the day, under clear skies, cloudy skies, or even in the rain, I found myself pondering a recurring question. Could I find happiness someday? For over 3 years, this question has haunted me, and I have yet to find an answer in my pursuit of happiness. All We Are Not Stares Back at What We Are by W.H. Auden. But am I truly pursuing it? When life feels stagnant, this question becomes one of the last things on your mind. In those moments, the answer seems so obvious. What else am I putting in all this effort for? Why else would I keep telling myself that once things fall into place, I will be this or that? The idea of things falling into place is often a secret poison, unnoticed until it's too late. When you say it, you're hoping for an opportunity to fall at your feet. Maybe it comes, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it appears when you're mentally asleep. Maybe it lulls you into a false sense of security, taming your spirit, disabling you. This false sense of security can transform you from a predator, ready to pounce on opportunities, into the prey, struggling to stay alive. By staying alive, I mean remaining in the same situation without seizing opportunities to change your circumstances. Ideally, if you must be prey, you want to evolve into a powerful entity like an elephant, rhino, or bison, where your only predators are other people who are either in your way or have the ability to keep you down. Part of the problem with the word disabilities is that it immediately suggests an inability to use or hear or walk or do other things that many of us take for granted. But what of the people who can't feel or talk about their feelings or manage their feelings in constructive ways? What of people who aren't able to form close and strong relationships, and people who cannot find fulfillment in their lives, or those who have lost hope, who live in disappointment and bitterness and find in life no joy, no love? These, it seems to me, are the real disabilities. By Fred Rogers. When I think about this transformation, it's clear that merely waiting for things to fall into place isn't enough. You have to be proactive, constantly seeking opportunities and ready to take action. This requires vigilance and ability to stay mentally awake, even when it feels easier to slip into complacency. It means striving to be powerful and resilient, much like those great animals that face few natural threats. Luckily for us, we're already one of those animals. Humans. Just need to find the strength to do so. Using myself as an example, I once harbored grand aspirations for both grandeur and intelligence, which at the time felt personally fulfilling. However, upon reflection during my moments of contemplation, I often felt torn. One part of me believed that I had envisioned such lofty goals because, for once in my life, I yearned to feel significant. I longed for the approval of others, hoping that their pride in me would eventually translate into self-pride. Yet, I also recognized that this dream of mine was somewhat distorted, influenced by external expectations and media, attempting to fill the void where I believed a person's heart should reside. Another part of me argues that it's just a typical dream of the young. Aspirations of wealth, power, and all that comes with them. Then there's the part I wish to ignore, the part that mocks me, saying I don't really know what I want. This voice suggests that my ambitions are driven by a hidden vanity, a desire to be the main character, to excel and stand above others, revealing a selfish nature deep down. These conflicting thoughts and voices are common amongst those who seek more in life, whether they admit it or not. I aspire to become a noteworthy scientist or someone of significance. I'd linger in the confines of the bathroom, contemplating whether achieving this would lead to greatness and subsequently happiness, a fulfilled existence. Yet, something feels amiss. I believe the metaphor I'm trying to convey is that of crossing a river. Despite my aspirations, I find myself elsewhere. I reflect on that dream persistently, yet the pride and superiority that accompanies it raises questions. For now, let's ask, why strive to become someone significant? Consider for a moment the definition. When I say someone great or significant, I don't refer to fame. Fame often brings with it its own form of self-destruction. I watch celebrities teeter on a tightrope, balancing fame with responsibility. Some manage it well, with safeguards in place. Others succumb to the lure, leading to ruins. Greatness is a transitory experience. It is never consistent. It depends in part upon the myth-making imagination of humankind. The person who experiences greatness must have a feeling for the myth he is in. He must reflect what is projected upon him, and he must have a strong sense of the sardonic. This is what uncouples him from belief in his own pretensions. The sardonic is all that permits him to move within himself. Without this quality, even occasional greatness will destroy a man. By Frank Herbert. The pursuit of significance, then, is not about seeking fame, but about achieving something meaningful and lasting, something that truly matters to oneself and potentially to others. It is about striving for a fulfilled existence, not merely for the sake of recognition, but for the genuine impact and satisfaction it brings. It's a funny situation, really, but admirable in its own way. Those who lay their lives bare often find themselves known for everything but themselves. Fame, whether through literature or through other mediums, comes in varying degrees, but what does it truly bring? Certainly, it brings exposure to a wider audience, yet the type of audience varies from ordinary folks to experts and peers. Returning to the idea of greatness, it's about possessing valued skills which may not always correlate with immense wealth. There's a limit to how high one can climb despite their talents and efforts. The limits to greatness is often set by time, mentality, personality, affinity, and how much one is willing to sacrifice, as well as by the elusive opportunity. It's not wrong to say that everyone has some untapped talent, or that children have unlimited potential. Compared to adults, children are nothing but potential. They are moldable and flexible, able to become anything given the right guidance and opportunities. They need a hunger for knowledge, effort, and the willingness to fail, all while avoiding the many distractions that can devour their mind and ambitions. Reading books becomes harder when animated, attention-grabbing television shows, games, and the lure of the internet are present. Modern music grooves and the endless content online can be very tempting. The best way to think of these distractions is to imagine them as ants or rodents. Using them occasionally is not a problem, but letting them consume you is. Each time you give in, these distractions take a small nibble at your potential, so small that you barely notice it. Like a mosquito bite, over time these small nibbles add up, and you start to realize the pieces of yourself that are missing. In the context of striving for greatness, the notion of untapped potential is crucial. As we age, the window for molding ourselves becomes narrower, but the potential never completely disappears. You are born with potential. You are born with goodness and trust. You are born with ideals and dreams. You are born with greatness. You are born with rings. You are not meant for crawling, so don't. You have wings. Learn to use them and fly. By Rumi. Ultimately, it's about leaving a legacy, even if one lacks descendants, leaving behind something tangible, a creation, a masterpiece, something you really care about. Whether it has a wide or short acclaim, or simply gives you a strong sense of inner pride, provides a sense of existence beyond one's lifetime. Jealousy and envy play their parts too, especially when comparing oneself to peers who may seem to achieve more with less effort. Yet, in the end, true greatness is not measured solely by accomplishment, but also by the impact one leaves on the world, or the positive impact that they had on other people's lives, people that remember them fondly. When it comes to what can be considered an accomplishment, they come in various shapes and sizes. The greatest accomplishments are often the ones you are most proud of yourself. These might be projects, creations, or any endeavor you've undertaken that holds personal significance. Sometimes the things you value most may not receive as much external praises as you would expect. I'll say it again. Despite this, one of the most fulfilling accomplishments for many people is positively affecting someone else's life. The joy derived from making a positive impact on another is profound, as long as it's done with good intentions and without taking advantage of others. We must also be cautious not to let others take advantage of us, retaining a balance in our interactions. When I look at the sky, I often wonder why these thoughts of wanting more arises during times of tranquility. It's likely because in moments of peace, we have the space and time to reflect and realize our desires. However, when we're busy, these thoughts are pushed to the back of our minds only to resurface when we have a brief moment to breathe. People are unique in what brings them happiness. Some find joy more easily while others become more pessimistic as they grow older. Seeing the world through a darker lens, this often confirms their biases and leads to sadness. It's said that the greatest pessimists are those who once saw the world as full of hope, dreaming of peace and happiness. The saying goes, if you live long enough, you will see yourself become the villain. Similarly, the hopeful can become doubtful. Doubts can spread like poison, or better yet, like a disease. Once it takes hold, it spreads, and the only remedies are inner strength, belief, or perhaps even a belief in a higher power. In today's fast-paced world, it's hard to maintain belief. We want things to happen quickly, much like a farmer wishing his crops would grow instantly, or hoping that seeds will miraculously sprout. Everything depends on the patience and effort we put into nurturing our dreams. Do not let the memories of your past limit the potential of your future. There are no limits to what you can achieve on your journey through life, except in your mind. Roy T. Bennett. Thank you for watching.